Hi friends, it's Brandon, and today I'll be your navigator as you explore the story, Jesus Creates a Family. In today's Bible story, we read about Jesus, Simon, and Andrew. Simon and Andrew are brothers and fishermen. One day, while Simon and Andrew were fishing in the sea, Jesus passes by, sees them, and says, "Come, follow me, and I'll show you how to fish for people." What in the world? Fish for people? That sounds strange. How does that even work? What kind of bait would one use to fish for people? Worms? No, maybe tomatoes. Maybe a piece of steak. This is a strange invitation from Jesus, but the Gospel of Mark recounts, right away, Simon and Andrew leave their nets and followed him. No questions, no confusion. They just dropped their things and followed him. Jesus, Simon, and Andrew ease on down the yellow brick road, and then it happens again. Jesus sees two more brothers, James and John, repairing their fishing nets. Jesus calls them, and they leave their father, Zebedee, behind to follow Jesus. Again, what is happening here? How could James and John leave their father, their family, behind for this random man they've never met before? Shouldn't their birth family be more important to them? When I was a kid in Sunday school, teachers would often emphasize the point that disciples left their things and, in many cases, their families to follow Jesus. However, that's only one way to read this passage. Take a closer look at Simon Peter. When Jesus called him, he was married and living with his partner's mother. Who knows? Simon and his partner may have even had children. After Jesus called Simon, Simon's house became a home base for Jesus' ministry. So in some ways, Jesus didn't just call Simon Peter, Jesus called his entire family into a new, larger family. When you think of it that way, Jesus' call to discipleship wasn't a call to forsake one's family, but it was a call into deeper, broader, more inclusive, less traditional kinds of family. When I was growing up, my church was sort of like this non-traditional family. People would often quote the old African proverb, "It takes a village to raise a child." And they meant it. Every child was everyone else's responsibility. But it wasn't just about children. Every human was every other human's responsibility. Our individual calls to serve and love Jesus resulted in a group of believers who prayed and worked together and shared in life's joys and sorrows. We were a family. I can remember Deacon Daniels, who always made it a point to remind people of the Christian family that we joined. He'd always address people as brother and sister so-and-so. "How are you, Brother Brandon?" he'd ask. "Sister Vicky, did you have a good week?" He'd ask my mother. We were all siblings, family in Christ. Now it's your turn. Think about these questions together. How is discipleship a lot like being called into a family? How does your family follow Jesus together? How does your church act like a family? How do you take care of one another?